Hi, hello. Welcome to the intro to this vlog of me trying something new, which is for the very first time in the entirety that I've lived in Houston off and on. I've never been to the River Oaks movie theater, and I've always secretly wanted to. So today, that's what we're doing, because I saw a clip of a Norwegian film on TikTok and thought, that seems interesting. And it's only showing at this movie theater and possibly, I think, like a singular AMC out in all of Houston. So we're gonna do that. So I thought I'd document it because I've also, I've never seen inside of it. It's been remodeled, I think, or restored to its like original glory, but it's an older theater. So I'm excited. However, we are making a pit stop at Barnes & Noble because that movie theater is across from Barnes & Noble. And I just want to wander about to kill some time before we go. Yeah. The lighting is probably weird, and so is, honestly, probably the audio. Let's go, guys. I'm excited and nervous because, like, what if I picked a bad seat? The seats look like they have trays from the diagram online. I don't know. And I'm like, what if I can't read the subtitles properly? And I'm like, and I'm like, none of it matters, girl. Just go watch the movie. So that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, gotta go. They're parking next to me. This is the bathroom. What? This is crazy.
Stop what you're doing.
All right, well, I'm back from the movie, and yeah, first of all, the River Oaks movie theater is it feels very vintage. They really did remodel it, I think, to be very mid-century modern, which I think is when the theater came into existence. And you get your ticket like outside, which I already had like a paper one. He scanned it, then he gave me I was really hoping they'd have like real paper tickets, and it's just the receipt paper, which is like a bummer. But you go in and the bar's open. And then I think like right in front is like the main auditorium. I guess like the big one for the big showings. And then you go up these stairs and it's a second platform with another bar and then the restrooms. And then you go up some more stairs and it's auditoriums right here with like the elevator in the middle. And we were in auditorium 3. And it's giving like Alamo Drafthouse too. Like they have, it's like fabric seats and stuff with like a tray and a QR code so that you can like order food and they bring you like food and stuff if you want. That was cool. Very much like have a full-blown stage in front of the screen for, I would guess, like other things that they probably like host. I've just never been, as stated before. So anyways, got there, watched the movie. First off, the only thing I have to say is, woo, that theater does not smell nice. It smells like greasy and old, and well, it is old. And then it was like in most movie theaters where you can often hear like the really like big action-packed movies. I don't know what was playing in our auditorium next to us, but we could hear like a good chunk of it while watching our movie. Now, the movie in question is called Sentimental Value. It's a Norwegian film. And yeah, truly just saw a TikTok like clip of it and thought, why not? Looked interesting. So I went, and here are my thoughts. I don't have a lot of them, actually. Well, I don't know what my thoughts are, because I know for sure the film is very melancholy-y. Is that a word? Melancholy-y, or just melancholy? I did like the way it kind of started, because it starts with like a narration of sorts of reading like a school project about one of the daughters writing about the house that they live in, and you learn through that monologue, and I think that house has been passed down through generations of like their family, and I thought that was really cool. I have to say, like, a lot of the time during the movie, I was a little disoriented because they would cut to different things, and I feel like I was always just like a wee bit confused, but I feel like that's a choice because I feel like that's very much how the main character feels, or I guess one of the main characters feels, disoriented often, never settled, a little slow, a little slow, a little melancholy. I do like the end shot. I guess this would be a spoiler. If anybody's going to go see Sentimental Value and doesn't want to know how it ends, in the last set of scenes or whatever, you see this house. They have like, I guess, is this so called like a craftsman's house if it's in Norway? But this beautiful house, gorgeous house that they've had for family for like generations, right? And it's basically being gutted and turned into like a modern build. It's like painted all white and whatnot. And I was just like, well, that's devastating in this day and age. But then it cuts to the eldest daughter, like, in the house, but she's not in the house because you realize the house is like, or, I mean, granted, I've never been an actor and I haven't been on set before, but like, I just thought the house, I was like, oh, so they're back in the house, we're doing like a time jump and the house is just like surrounded by a tarp. Nope. It's just like a blue screen, green screen, so they can like put in the outside. So it's like a set, and it's the eldest daughter acting, and then it's the youngest daughter's son, and then it's the father directing. And it kind of just cuts to the end of like one scene, and she's like crying, and they like, I don't know, they make eyes at each other, and I feel like it's a really good metaphor for just like letting go, and letting go, or just like breaking cycles. I don't really know, because yeah, I will say that I learned a thing. I hate to admit this. This is going to sound like it makes me feel like I'm uneducated, but I feel like we did not cover this in my history classes. I was unaware that Germany occupied Norway in 1940 until 1945. Because there's a, like when they're talking about, right, all through the movie or whatever, there's a moment where you find out that the father's mother was part of the resistance. And I was saying they're like, the resistance? Like World War II? And then the state police came for her. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Was Norway pro-Germany in World War II? And I just sat there confused, like, what? And then they like look up her file. And it's not great in the sense of it's like she's been marked for treason and they tortured her. And so it was for like anti-Nazi like propaganda. And I was like, oh, so then I proceeded to then Google Norway's history in World War II because I don't think we covered that. And then I was like, I'm sorry, where is Norway in location to Germany? And I'm like, damn, World War II was bananas. You mean to tell me? All right, I just want to pop in real quick, editing me, to say that I feel like it sounds like she doesn't understand the magnitude of World War II in Germany. And I want you to know that she does. It was a hyperfixation of mine for a little bit. I took a writing in the Holocaust class. Okay? And I was in AP World History in high school. So she understands. But I think learning Norway for the first time was occupied, and knowing where Norway is in relation to Germany across the North Sea, that Germany was not only going this way, which I always knew about, and I always knew it was coming down this way, but to know that it was always also going up and beyond and across the pond is wild. Like, it really adds like another layer of like catastrophic like impact that like is much more salient than it was in my brain beforehand. Okay, that's all. I don't want to add to the uneducatedness of like Americans. Don't worry. I went to school. I know some things. Oh, yikes. I learned that, and then I also grew a new appreciation for, again, the brain rot of heated rivalry, because I feel, right, when I heard when Connor speak Russian and do his Russian accent, I felt like it felt really real because I have helped a Russian or two send documentation to their homelands. And I've like, not that it's really recent because I haven't worked at the UPS store in a minute, but I was like, no, that sounds like the people I was interacting with, right? So I was like, oh, that's a really good accent. And then obviously everyone who's like a native speaker of Russian was like, oh no, he's excellent. And then I remember seeing one girl say that like the actor who plays Sasha, his accent isn't as good, so it throws her out of the like being present. And I was like, oh, that must really suck. I don't know. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Didn't think like a thought about it till I was watching this movie. And Elle Fanning is playing an American in Norway. And the father like grabs her to be the actress for the movie, the screenplay or whatever he's written, because his daughter doesn't want to do it. And so she's like, I feel like this should be Norwegian, or at least I should have like a Scandinavian accent. And he's like, nah, we'll think about it. So she like tries to get like, she tries this, you know, the character she's playing is attempting to do a Norwegian or like, I guess, Scandinavian accent. And she starts to speak with it. And I'm immediately like, ew. Because the entire time, the like actors in this film are also like speaking Norwegian. Is that the language? And they also speak English. And so like you're hearing their accents, and then she tries to, and I'm just like, oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. Shout out to Connor Stories. I don't have much thoughts other than it was really melancholy. It's truly, I thought it was just going to be a story about sisters. And it is in fact, it's a story about generational trauma. So, which of course, you know, sisters, I could have alluded, but I really thought it was going to be a relationship on the two sisters dealing with their father, and not their father dealing with the ramifications of his mother, their grandmother, or, you know, his mother's sister, which I just love how they were gal palling it up. It was not a bad way to spend my afternoon, although I do feel like I smell like the movie theater. They did show a preview for a movie that's coming out on Christmas. I think it's a Korean film. And it looked really interesting. That was honestly, it was a really nice experience. Especially because I've never seen a foreign film outside of a classroom. But I've only ever watched foreign films in college. Because I feel like I've said this before, but my minor is technically kind of like in film. And my like world cinema class, the only films I remember from my world cinema class was definitely like a Russian film and a German film. But I know we watched other films too, because there was a small theater at U of H, and it's it used to be in PGH, if you know, you know. And that's where we would go watch it on like the big screen and to see the subtitles and stuff. Because when I did my gender and sexualities in film, that was just like on a projector. So that one was actually harder to pay attention to, because I think projectors don't do a good job. And yeah, at that point I was graduating and I was checked out for sure. And I was like, and I did an intro to documentaries class where we had to make a little documentary. I also thought, not to circle back to the movie, I thought it was going to be sadder than it was. And it did. Actually, the moment that made me sad on TikTok that I saw was the moment that made me sad on the screen. But it was a sentimental, sentimental value, and melancholy film. Anyways, thanks for coming with me on this little journey and adventure to old school theater and seeing a foreign film. So, cheers. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.